that you missed. When you go somewhere and when you arrive, they offer you a drink. Go and watch the videos of that Russian man, and you will realize this was a ritual. This was a ritual, unbeknownst to our ladies. They were participating in a ritual, and they were not even aware. They were doing it, uh, you know, and they were not even aware what was going on. But this Russian man, when you see those videos, you'll realize that there was always something to eat. Go and see those videos again. There was always something to eat. Like there's drinks. I saw another lady, in those videos, drinking one drink, putting it down, another drink, putting it down. That is not a drink. That is there's things called a drink offering or a chalice. The word is called chalice, and a chalice is a cup of a covenant. Are we together? It is called chalice. That is the right word. They would lift the cup, and and uh, and you are participating in a ritual, and you don't even know what you are doing. So it looks like it's a drink, but in the naked eyes, it looks like it is a drink, but it is not a drink. It is not a drink. So you provide all the ingredients for witchcraft. Number one, they give you a drink. All right? You start drinking it. Then you start talking. You start telling them where you come from. You start telling them stuff. They ask you questions. You're answering things. And you see your words, are part of that, is part of that witchcraft. Your words also. So unknowingly, they would strip themselves of the divine protection, because you see, you've been given a drink. You think it's a drink. It's called a chalice. It's a cup of a new covenant, and you drink it. Then you feel good, but that is not really. They give you meat. You think it's meat, but it's actually you're part of a ritual. So you have to be. That's why I always tell people, you have to be alert. Don't start getting into agreements. You see, the Kenyans are saying the Russian man, the ladies were not in agreement. No, they were in agreement. They were in agreement. Go and see those videos again. A lady is taking a cup, drinking it. What are you doing? You are participating in a Holy Communion. That is a Holy Communion. And what is the meaning of communion? Let's look at the meaning of the word communion. You were communing with this person. It means you were in agreement. You were in agreement without you knowing it. So you go somewhere, you start eating chicken. You are a partaker. You are a partaker of their things. How can you go to somebody, sit down, drink whatever they're offering you, you eat whatever they're offering you, and then you say you're not in agreement? My dear brothers and sisters, if you ask me, they were participating in a spiritual, it was a spiritual manipulation, and they were not aware of it. Are we together? Because when they went, the Bible says that 2 and 3 cannot walk together unless they're in agreement. I can show you the verse. 2 or 3 cannot walk together. That is what the Bible says, right? You cannot walk with somebody unless you are in agreement with him. True or false? The Bible says that two cannot walk together, unless they agree. That is the book of Amos chapter 3 verses 3. It says, and two cannot walk together. Two people cannot walk together unless they agree. So when Kenyans are saying, oh, they were not in agreement with the Russian man. No. The fact that you two were working together, there was harmony, there was partnership, there was relationship, there was cooperation, there was consensus. Are we together? You went to his house. You agreed, either knowingly or unknowingly. So you are partners. For example, if you walk with a thief and you meet a police officer, will you start saying, I've just met this man today? The police officer will say, you know what? I found you two together. I don't know whether you met today or you met last year. The fact remains is that I found you two together. So the Bible says two cannot walk together unless they're in agreement. So when a Kenyan says that the Russian man was at fault, but you start looking at the elements, there's things called elements. Even in witchcraft, there are things called elements. And I will tell you, number one, look at what they were doing. They were drinking something. Once you people are drinking, that's why it's always very careful to watch what you are doing. Because if you're partaking a drink offering, laughing and dancing, what are you dancing to? Or who are you dancing for? You are dancing, celebrating. You may be celebrating to pagan gods and you're not even aware. So when you say that there was no consensus, you are lying. Because it's a matter of interpretation. If you took money from him, either knowingly or unknowingly, you are in agreement. You agreed to whatever that he was. You went with him at an appointed time and a place. That in itself, whether they were aware or they were not aware, there was agreement. If you look at the meaning of the word agreement can also mean, let me tell you something, agreement by implication, by conduct, agreement by implication. Let me look for the word. It means agreement by implication, often called an implied contract or contract implied in fact, is a legally binding obligation inferred from the actions, conducts, or circumstances. So, for example, if that's what I'm trying to explain to my fellow Kenyans. For example, if you are drinking with a sorcerer, whether you know it or you don't know it, you are in agreement with him by your conduct. I want that to sink in. For example, and I want to repeat, for example, I'm drinking a chalice or I'm drinking a drink offering and you are drinking it with me. You are drinking the cup with me. Then, whether you know it or you don't know it, or whether you are in agreement or whether it is either knowingly or unknowingly, you are in agreement with me because of your conduct. Those are called the elements of the agreement. That's why I'm saying there was agreement, because the word agreement, even legally, it is a very huge term. All right. For example, a woman who even goes to his bedroom and does stuff, says, "I want you to take me to Russia." You saw it. How can a woman say, "I want you to take me to Russia," yet she now claims that we were not in agreement? So the word, maybe we need clarification. Our courts should tell us the meaning of the word agreement. Were they in agreement? You can see they're eating chicken together. How can people who are eating chicken together not to be in agreement? "Oh, I'm broke, give me money." You mean you're not in agreement with me? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are a partaker of whatever. You signed a contract and you were not aware of the terms and conditions. That is what I was explaining to my friends today. What happened was that the women signed a legally binding contract and they were not even aware of it in the first place. Are we together? Do you need any further explanation? I can explain to you up until tomorrow. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me where you're watching me from. For example, that's why I'm telling you, some people, they don't know whether they are even into witchcraft. Because, for example, you go and start drinking, because those are the elements of even witchcraft. There must be something that you share. There must be consensus. There must be shared beliefs. There was consensus building. Those are the elements that were present at that particular time. There was consensus. There was shared beliefs. They were even dancing. I don't know to what. How can you say that that was not agreement? For example, if you go to a witch doctor, are you in agreement with him? When you go to see a witch doctor, are you in agreement with him? Whether you believe in his paraphernalia or you don't believe in his paraphernalia, the fact that you have gone to his place, it means you are in agreement with him. Are we together? Can I break it down for you? If you move from your place to his place and you have not been kidnapped, then that itself is agreement. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? So I've already explained to you the meaning of agreement, which people need to know. What is it that we were signing up to? If these ladies had the option of saying no, but the fact that they said yes at the top of the agreement, the fact that they were willing to listen and they were reeled in, that in itself, my friend, that itself is that it cannot be enforced. You cannot say that Ruto can enforce it by telling these people to come to go after the man from Russia, because number one, you see, why is it? It's not criminal. Number one, all these women were 18 years old. Okay, I know I'm arguing like an atheist, but all these women were 18 years and above. There was no child there, unless there was a minor in that group of women, yes, but there was consent. These women, you know, they allowed him. They allowed him to take videos. They allowed him. And how did they allow him? By going to his house. Yes. The women allowed this man knowingly, or they allowed this man, that is unknowingly, to take those videos. Why? Because they went to his house. So if you ask me if that is, you know, if that is illegal in nature, I'll say that is not illegal in nature, because it is the ladies who allowed it to happen. Because of something called alibi. At what time, at what place? You were at that place. So it means that you actively, you are an accomplice, or you are a partner in crime, or you are an enabler. It is those ladies who enabled the Russian man to take the videos. If the Russian man was not in the company of those ladies, he would not have taken the videos. So the ladies themselves inadvertently allowed this man to take the videos. And was there consent? Yes. The fact that the ladies agreed to go to his house, that is consent. Any questions up to there? That's why I'm saying it depends in how you're interpreting it. It is not a question of emotions. It is not a question of whether the morality. It's not a question of breach of the Constitution. Because if you look at all these things, you're saying, oh, the Constitution was, you know, it was contravened. I don't know what. Ilikuwa nasema ati Article 28. It's Article 28 of the Constitution. How? Let's read Article 28 at the. No. Ati sasa mnaanza kusema Constitution. Constitution gani? Ukienda kukula kuku kwa watu, sasa ndio unakumbuka Constitution. That is, wewe umeenda ungepewa hiyo kuku ati human Article 28 human dignity. Now you are telling people about human dignity, but you were you drank, you were drinking and eating from his table. You were eating and receiving money from him. Now you're talking about dignity. You should have talked about dignity before you left the house. Ama namna gani? Yes. Wewe umeenda kwa watu, amekuwekea kuku, umekula. Amekuwekea nini, umekula. Sasa mbona ulikuwa unakula vitu zako? I'm asking you guys, why is it that the ladies were not talking about human dignity when they were eating his food? Why are they talking about dignity now? Why are they talking about dignity now? When they were eating, did they think about dignity? They think about dignity now. Vitu sasa zimeharibika. Oh, the Constitution. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. I'm not going anywhere. I will be reading and reading. It is 3:30 Kenyan time. Any questions up to there? You're eating grilled chicken, you're drinking beer. You're taking, unakunywa beer. Eating is money. When things are bad, you're saying dignity. Come on, man. Is that really fair? It's not fair. If you have accepted any question? Wendo umekula mbuzi choma, umekula kuku choma, grilled chicken, umekula vitu zako huko, umeenjoy. The man wanted also a record of the people who are eating his money. Nakula tu pesa ya wase hapa. That's not fair. Kenyans, let's be honest with one another. Ndio unakula pesa ya mtu alafu unataka kutoroka. Haina hako. Nipeleke Mombasa, unapeleka. Ukifika huko unaanza kuruka. Any questions up to there? I want to go. Now. Can I ask me your questions before I go? I want to go and sleep. Tomorrow morning I have somewhere that I'm going. Can I ask me your questions? Ndio unasema unataka kukula nini? Nataka fish. Naletewa fish. Najibonda. Nataka nini tena? Nataka sijui nini, naletewa. Nataka sijui nini, naletewa. Unakula vizuri, vitu zikiharibika, unasema dignity. Inaku. Hiyo sio fair. Unataka kula pesa ya mrashi tu hivyo. Na umetoka kwenye maeneo ya milipuko ya bomu. Mtu amesurvive bomb. Grenade. Alafu tena mkuja hapo mkule pesa yake tu. Hivyo tu bure. Not serious. Any questions up to there? Can I ask me questions? I'm just enjoying some chicken here. Tell me. If you have no questions, I'm just about to finish. I want to go and sleep. I want to go and sleep now. Ask me questions. Sasa wewe nipeleke KFC, unapelekwa. Unakula pesa ya mtu, mwisho unasema dignity. Usikule pesa yake basi, mwache. Arrivederci, tuonane baadaye. Kesho.